Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today we are back with another best cards to buy right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. There are definitely some good buys right now in the game. One tip that I mentioned on stream last night is that I probably wouldn't really, if you want to try to get an LTD egg, go for it, but I really wouldn't participate much in the Sugar Rush promo. It doesn't look like it's going to be one of those promos that's going to last for a while as far as cards longevities go, so unless your theme team or whatever team you have gets like a crazy upgrade, stay out of this promo, because I'm telling you, Ring of Honor is coming out next week, the week after Sugar Rush Part 2, and those are going to be the cards you're going to want, and those are going to be the cards that, you know, you wish you still had your coins or training for when you spend it all on Sugar Rush and chasing eggs that might be mid. We don't know what the eggs are going to be, but I can guarantee you, I would probably say I have 85% confidence that Ring of Honor will be one of those promos with, you know, good X Factor players, top end cards, 99 overalls. They're going to be crazy. And before we do get started, though, of course, if you are part of this 63% of people watch the videos that are not subscribed, let's change that right now. Head down there, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I will be live tonight on Twitch. The first hour of the stream, about 8:15, 8:30, I'll be live for the first hour of the stream. We are going to be rating teams live. Make sure to come through, link in the description, 8 p.m., 8:15, 8:30, first hour rating teams live. And yes, let's just get into the best cards to buy right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Okay, again, if you guys are new to this series, what we're looking for are cards where their price point is outweighed by their production on the field, or how well they play is more valuable than what you're spending on them. Those are considered good buys right now in Ultimate Team. And before we even get started here, I think pretty much every single Combine champion non-LTD is a very good buy right now. I also really do like a 25 Combine team. You can build a top-end Combine team by only really, you know, making good buys, good purchases. Yes, the team's a little bit more expensive than like a full budget team, obviously, but having that team at 25 with their X factors and their stats, the only issue is you might get bored of using Bo Jackson over and over and over again. But, you know, there's really no reason you have to move off that team if you have a 25 Combine team. X factors are on point. Speeds are all 99s pretty much. If you buy one or two LTDs, that team is taking it to that next level. But either way, our first best buy, probably one of the best buys on here, is the best quarterback in the game, Bo Jackson. Best release in the game, can run. It's all the abilities, all the X factors that you really want. And he's only 320K on Xbox. That's ridiculous. Next up, Troy Aikman, but again, to me, there's no point in even buying this card when Bo exists, but you know, this card does play well, gets good abilities, good X factors, and also, you know, 250K is not a bad buy right there for Troy Aikman. Doug Williams, still the people's, people love this card still. He's still good, don't get me wrong, the card is definitely still good, and yeah, for 141K, great buy, but you're paying double for that for Bo, you know what I mean? About double, so like, it's a little bit less probably than double, but like to me, Doug Williams gets a 6 AP ability stack, Bo gets 4, Bo gets more abilities, Bo a little faster, but the release on Doug is the same, I will say that. So Doug's definitely a stud too. I would probably, Doug and Troy would be pretty close for me depending on like how I play the game really, but. And then finally we have William Perry. You can actually, if you have enough apprentices on your offense, you could still run William Perry without Hot Route Master. You can still run a non-Hot Route Master QB. Like, you definitely could. William Perry's still a stud. Good speed, perfect accuracy stats across the board. Card can do everything. Good release, good abilities as well. So you can technically still use William Perry for 141, for 114. But you would kind of need like apprentices or whatever if you are a Hot Route Master user. Or you could just spend that extra 30K and go get Doug Williams. At running back, again, I'm sorry, Bo Jackson. Best running back in the game. Debatably best card in the game. Is Bo Jackson, angry runs, 98 speed, and again, 25 Combine teams are comp. Emmitt Smith here as well, kind of the same exact thing I said with Aikman and this Bo, is that Emmitt Smith is great, but I probably would have used Emmitt Smith for a while if Bo didn't come out right after. So, you know, Emmitt's cool, good card, 230, like him. Under 100K, Derrick Henry is pretty insane. I will say his angry runs, once it turns off, you're not going to get it back, so he's a good card for when that X Factor is on, but for under 100K, he's a demon. The card I do prefer at the same price range is Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis is still, to me, it might ruffle some feathers, but I'm probably going to do a running back tier list tomorrow, depending on Ultimate Legends, if they're good or not, but he's still top 5. I think in my head, like just thinking all the running backs, he's still top 5 to me, and he's under 100K. This is probably the best buy on in today's video. Under 100K for a top 5 running back in the game, and the reason for this is just angry runs. And running back is probably the most X Factor dependent position, where you have a guy with an X Factor, have a guy without an X Factor, and the guy with the X Factor plays so much better than the guy without it. It's just, and it's out of the card's control no matter what the stats are. Yes, he's only got 84 speed, but I would take him over some 97, 96 speed running backs in the game right now with like 100% with ease because of that X Factor. And he moves amazing as well. Next up, fullback, Reggie Gilliam. Fullbacks don't like paying for them. Not many people really use them anymore, but Gilliam for under 100K is not bad. Again, Bo Jackson, not going to spend too much time here, but does get Yakima and Vanguard with 98 speed and can pretty much do everything. So, besides really like be a really good run blocker, but if you want to make him a really good run blocker, all you got to do is literally just put Vanguard on him and he will cook. Next up, Jonnu Smith, pretty much the same thing I've been saying. Bo exists for that extra 100K. It's worth it over Jonnu, but Jonnu's still a good card. 6'3", 96 speed. Ability-wise, rack him up in backyard. Tight end aren't great, but I do like the route tech on him, but it's 2 AP. Like this card plays well. I think he's honestly better off without abilities, to be honest. We then have Aiden Hutchinson for 200K. This card's interesting because he's really just going to be like a run blocker, kind of pass block utility guy for you. I mean, you can kind of tell by the abilities he's not going to be like a super crazy route runner or pass catcher, but I do like his ability to have these super just nasty run blocking stats and things like that, and also the ability for Vanguard I also do like as well. So I do like Aiden Hutchinson for that reason. And next up, we got Heath Miller, another Vanguard tight end. He's a pretty good receiver, very good route running, as you guys can see right there. Pretty good route running. It does get short in elite and tight end apprentice. Only one ability bucket, I believe. Yes, sir. But I would use Vanguard on this card if you are going to buy him for that price tag. And then we get finally Brock Bowers. Also, Gronk could have been here, but I had enough Vanguard tight ends here. So Brock Bowers, only one route running threshold on Brock Bowers. I didn't know his route running was that bad. This card did play pretty well for me when I had him. All 32 team chems, 94 speed, 98 acceleration, good catching, good after the catch. Brock Bowers for 60K is a great buy. Left tackle. I know I missed wide receiver. For some reason, the tabs went out of order, but Whitworth, 140K at left tackle. We're not going to spend too much time here. Trent Williams, left tackle as well, under 100K. Christian Darrisaw, 88K right there for left tackle. Left guard, we got Quentin Nelson, a little bit on the higher end, but he's definitely a stud. The card plays great. Damian Lewis, and also good X factors as well. Damian Lewis for under 100K. I see right here. 94 run block and then 92 pass blocks, what you're looking for right there, with some pretty high finesse and stuff like that. Peter Skoronski under 70K. There you go. Center, another high-end guy, but I do think Dexter Lawrence is one of the better, I think he's probably the best center in the game right now as far as abilities go, being able to get all the abilities you kind of want on a center. Even having pretty good speed for a center too, and if you have combine team, the nice speed boost there for the offensive lineman is also pretty nice. So Dexter Lawrence is stud at a position right there. Center. For under 150K, we got Josh Myers, good value. Some of these stats are lower, but we're looking for like pass block, run block, impact block. There's those high dark green stats that we're looking for on the offensive line, and also all the important stuff over 90. Under 90K, we get Connor Williams. This card's also a stud as well. And then we have Kevin Zeitler here at left guard, right guard. I didn't like any of the higher end left guards, to be honest. Maybe Chris Lindstrom would be like the most worth it. Van Roten plays okay, he's cool, but I feel like Zeitler for 108 is a pretty big jump, and he's still a good card, like all over 90. You guys see those dark greens right there. Will Hernandez, kind of moving our way down here, but 60K. See some of those dark greens in there, all over 90 as well. And then Joe Tittman. Joe Tittman, he might not be over 90 everywhere, but you guys see this light, this light green right here. That speed is what we're looking for on Joe Tittman. You pair this with a combine team. I think my Joe Tittman right now has 95 speed, I think. But I also have him on a Jets team too, but absolute stud. We then have Rob Havenstein. Okay, 300K with this card. Good abilities as well. Very important that you're able to get 0 AP abilities on these offensive linemen. So Rob Havenstein, stud. John Runyon as well, over 90, good speed. And then we have Spencer Brown, who's not all over 90, but at least run block and pass block are both over 90. He's 6'8", 314. Card's an absolute stud. Let's get over to wide receiver now. Yak him up, Andre Reed. I do think that Darius Hayward-Bay is better just based off abilities, but for under 400K, you're getting who I believe is a top 2 receiver in the game right now. And the reason for that is, of course, the Yak him up X Factor. Again, this X Factor is not as good as the Combine one, but Darius Hayward-Bay costs an extra 400K on top of this card right here. So, you yak him up when that X Factor is lit up. He's breaking that first tackle every single time. And he gets 1 AP route technician. And you could also go minion elite, or you can go bruiser or wide receiver apprentice. So, pretty good setups there. I wish that he was able to get like a jukebox or some kind of thing that'll help him, you know, make guys miss after the catch. But this card moves well. He plays well. He's got a good build, good size. Can be a good, you know, standalone receiver with route tech when the yak him up's off. But when that yak him up is on, good luck. Andre Reed's a stud. This card is a demon, and again, probably one of the best buys in today's video. And they got Michael Pittman, mainly for theme team users. If you don't have a theme team, I don't think this card is worth it. But if you have one, then he's really good value. 98 speed at 6'4" with decent abilities. You know what I mean? That's pretty good, but it's really just the size and the +2 speed potential that's pretty easy because he does get all 32 team cams. We then got Christian Watson. Christian Watson, 98 speed, 97 acceleration. Receiving stat-wise, he's great across the board for 314. You're getting good size, good speed. Abilities on this card, I don't think they were that great. No, they're not like amazing, but you know, it's his build that really carries this card, and I do like his value as well. 300K, CeeDee Lamb. Really, any of the team of the year wide receivers that you want, whichever one you like, I think are good value buys right now, in your opinion. I just think CeeDee's the best of the team of the year wide receivers, not named Puka. So that's why he's the only guy here. Chris Collinsworth. This card got overlooked. This card got disrespected. The man is 6'5", 97 speed, 95 acceleration. The stats are great. After the catch, he's great, but really, it's the abilities on this card that are pretty nutty. He's able to get deep elite and red zone threat for 1 AP, or even run off elite as well is good for the runners out there. So deep elite, red zone threat, crazy. Chris Collinsworth, a big body receiver, and one of those guys that can definitely go crazy without an X factor, or you know, just based off his abilities and his build and his size. He's just going to be a solid card for you. And then finally, we have Donovan Peoples-Jones as well. I think this might be our last one. No, we still have a lot more. What am I talking about? Donovan Peoples-Jones for the Combine team. Again, a lot of these Combine champions I really do like. Calvin Johnson as well. He's down at 200K right now. Still good size, still good speed, still good abilities, and of course, that double me X factor. Then have DK Metcalf for 188K. Good size, Genki Force, so he's going to get a whole slew of abilities. Really nice card right here. And, you know, it's DK. His cards always play well after the catch. Good impact block, all that good stuff. What's going on here? Who is this? Who is this supposed to be? Okay, Dante Hall. Yes, Dante Hall is a budget worse version of the Yak Andre Reed. He does get Yak Hump as well, but the problem with this card is that he's 5'8", so he's not as good as a standalone receiver when the ability's not on. So do keep that in mind, but still good enough speed, and the Yak Hump X factor is definitely one that's worth looking into. 135K, we got Randy Moss, we got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And finally, we got Marquise Hollywood Brown. But there are two more receivers I do want to talk about real quick. And they're going to be 95 overalls that I didn't select on accident. I kind of got reminded of them. I don't know how I missed them. But that's going to be Leggett. Where are they? I'm just going to look them up. Adunze. Adunze is the first one. Adunze, stud, all 32 team cams, just like Brock Bowers for 60K is a great value buy. The one I like better is Xavier Leggett. He is going to be the guy that I think is a better receiver. Because again, +2 speed, you have a 98 speed, 6'3" wide receiver with 2 route running thresholds, good after the catch, good size, good speed, 32 team chems, and again, under about 60K, which is great value. And that's going to do it for all our best buys on offense. Let's head over to defense. Okay, on defense, getting started with George Karlaftis, Furious George. He gets the Colossus X Factor. I know his price is on the steeper end, but Colossus is an ability I would pay 800K for. So the fact that Karlaftis gets it and he gets really good stats on top of it. I mean, his traits are, they actually are perfect too. I didn't even know that. This card's a stud, man. One of the better buys, even though he's on the more expensive end, which I normally do not say. We then got Reggie White, Minister of the Defense. If you wanted to, you could run Karlaftis off the edge and put Reggie White in the middle at defensive tackle and put that unstoppable force on him. AKA, of course, is going to go crazy. We also have Matabuke, Mata Beast, who gets the same thing, the AKA X Factor, for under 100K, and that's going to be unstoppable force for him, and then Colossus on George Karlaftis. Then going over to right end. This card doesn't get any crazy, abilities, or, his abilities are pretty good with no X factors, but it's Aaron Donald, so perfect traits with 95 speed, 97 finesse move, 97 power moves, obviously very good there. For under 150K, we got Chase Young. Another really good buy here. He doesn't get the same good X factor that George Karlaftis gets, but he does get blitz, which is pretty good. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not awful. And also, blitz will help out the rest of your pass rushers as well, so it's a pretty good ability. It's not as good as Colossus or Unstoppable Force, but still pretty solid. At right end, we got Chop Robinson. This card, of course, all 32 team cams, so potentially 96 speed with 97 finesse move is pretty good for about 60K right now. You can't beat that. At defensive tackle, so I'll talk about it in a second, but First up, we got Warren Sapp, great value buy, and of course, he does get unstoppable force, so that's why he's here. Good traits, for perfect traits, and he's got over 90 in both pass rush stats, over 90 in all his run stopping stats besides pursuit, but his acceleration is good enough where it does cover it up. We then have Vita Vea for 80K, mainly just there for the size. His card really isn't like amazing, but for 80K, he's a good body to put out there. 60K, I actually do like Jalen Carter more than Vita Vea, just based off speed and also pass rush ability and abilities. So Jalen Carter also pretty good. But as defensive tackle, we think about William Perry. I really don't like overspending for these defensive tackles right now. The only guy that I would say is worth like really overspending for is probably Harrison Phillips, because he does get Colossus, which is a very good ability on the interior. So I have that card. He plays great. I think he's probably the best, maybe top 2 defensive tackle in the game right now. But he's 900K, and I don't think that's not a good buy right now. So as far as good buys at defensive tackle, there really isn't any cards that I think play better than what their coin value is. I don't think so. Even like Chris Jones, like I don't think his card's crazy. Like Jalen Carter's card's cool, but he's still 500K, and you're not getting any special X factor or anything like that. I mean, the abilities are pretty solid, but I don't know. It doesn't really move me too much, to be honest. I mean, I guess inside stuff, interior threat's pretty good. This might be the guy who's closest to that, because he's got these pretty crazy stats with some pretty good traits as well. He's probably the closest. He's definitely the closest. All right. Either way, we got left outside linebacker, another no-brainer here, another Colossus guy. That's going to be Brian Orakpo. I mean, if you got Karlaftis on one side, Orakpo on another, and then you have like a guy like Harrison Phillips in the middle with another X factor, even an unstoppable force like, Reggie White or one of those guys in the middle, you're going to be in good hands. Brian Orakpo is a stud of a card, even though his finesse was very low. His speed's still good. His traits, they're not perfect, but he gets Colossus, which makes him perfect. That's all that really matters. Next up, Terrell Suggs at left outside linebacker as well. And I believe next up again, we have Terrell Suggs. Yes, both Terrell Suggs. I like both these cards. They're both over 90, and they both get perfect traits. So sign me up on both Terrell Suggs cards. I don't care. As a user at left outside linebacker, I still do like Harold Carmichael. He's a little bit slower now, but he's still 6'8" at the end of the day. Just still very frustrating to face. So I like Harold Carmichael still. Now we have our middle linebacker users. This one I was kind of on the fence with, but if you're someone that you're gonna get value from running mid-zone KO on this card for free, it's mid-zone and lurk artist for free, then buy him. If you're someone that doesn't think mid-zone's gonna work in your scheme, then do not buy this card, because there's better value guys. For example, Isaiah Simmons gets lurk artist. I think Isaiah Simmons is the better user than Fred Warner. Better run stopping stats, better size, can play man, can play zone, but he doesn't get that free mid-zone KO, which is obviously a big deal. And back to Devin White, if you're someone that has a theme team, going back to Michael Pittman's card, if you got a theme team that's going to get this guy to 98 speed, 97 speed, that's how this card will be worth it. If you don't worry about this card. Go get a guy like Isaiah Simmons, who's much, much better. Gronk as well, still a good user in this game, 6'6", a little bit on the slower end, but still moves great, plays great, animates great. We also got Ray Nitschke for under 100K. This card does get reinforcement as well, which is actually pretty nice. So Ray Nitschke, under 100K. Good size. Card does play well, I won't lie. And also a little dark horse one here is Chris Collinsworth. I didn't know this card even really existed, but he's a stud, man. Over 90, man. Over 90 zone. Good hands, obviously, with him being a receiver turned linebacker. Receiver turned linebacker. I said that right. Wait, receiver turned. Yeah, okay. I did say that right. And 95 hit power on the card. Even the strength. The strength's a little bit low, but yeah, these guys go to hit power. Going to be more of your user, but a 6'5" user with 95 speed cannot be ignored. The only issue is you are going to have to pay for a lurk artist, but at least he gets it. This card could be a demon. 85K, 6'5", 95 speed user. Why not? All right, going over to right outside linebacker, we got Bojack. Again, a guy that can do both. A guy that can rush the pass, or a guy you can drop into coverage, whether you're playing 6-1 or even just blitzing. This card plays great for me and contains and things like that. But it's, of course, 98 speed. Traits are perfect because it's an out-of-position player. They always do this for some reason. But literally Lawrence Taylor-like traits with this speed. The only problem is not 90 finesse move. That's the only issue. But the card also does get X factors like dual threat, which make him a much better pass rusher and a guy you can drop into coverage and still get KOs. So, and free lurk artist as well. So if you want to, you're 4-down lineman, you click on the bow, rush only 3 and drop bow into coverage, he can be a very good user for you. But I will say he's not like a crazy one-on-one pass rusher unless that X factor is on. He's just not crazy at that. For under 100K, we got Mr. Monday Night. I don't like a lot of the guys in the middle here for buys. They're just not worth it to me. But yeah, Keith Bullock, good user, good drop guy. Can even rush a little bit. Obviously, he's not Bo, but actually traits are pretty good on him, actually. But you know, this card's pretty good for under 100k, and also does get X factors as well. I believe he does get dual threat too, which is another good user kind of click on lineman ability as well. And then finally for our pass rusher, this could have been Micah Parsons, this could have been Lawrence Taylor, but both are going to be great for you. Perfect traits, good finesse, good power moves. And did we get a Ring of Honor Lawrence Taylor last year? Because if we didn't get a Ring of Honor Lawrence Taylor last year, I think we did get a Ring of Honor Lawrence Taylor. I think we did. It was like I don't remember all of them. I think we did. I feel like we definitely did. I was gonna say if not, and then he's a lock, but I think we did. Yeah, we did get a Lawrence Taylor because there was like all those Giants cards came out. Yeah, there had to have been a Ring of Honor Lawrence Taylor last year. Going over to cornerback, a pretty loaded position here. Kind of gonna go through these pretty quick. We got Sauce Gardner, of course, 6'3", 98 speed for about 400k. Great buy. Charles Woodson going down in price. Great zone abilities, can tackle, play man, can play zone. Card's a stud. And then a Pat Surtain, another good card that can do both man, zone, good size, speed, about 300k. And then going down again, we got Bo. People hate on this card for some reason, but they really don't understand that if you put dual threat on the card, he gets every single KO in the game. But I don't understand people really hate on this card. And if you play man, he's great. The card plays well. I heard someone trying to tell me that his animations were bad, like cornerbacks got different animations or something like that. I don't know. People just find different ways to hate Bo, but I get it. I mean, it's boring facing him all the time, but that's the game that EA wants us to play, so we gotta play it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And they got DRC, 266k for this card right here, 6'2", 97 speed. And again, I think I hopefully put every single combine, champion on here who's not an LTD, because they're all really, really good value buys right now. They're all really good. Monte Adams as well, for you zone guys out there, 200k for a card that gets mid zone, deep zone, and flat zone potentially. Or if you want to trade one of those for a pick artist, you're able to do that as well. Monte Adams is a stud. And then we also got Randy Moss for getting down to close to 100k. I think I still had him in a tier on my tier list, because he is 6'4" with 95 speed, can play man, can play zone, and can tackle a little bit as well with 88 hit power. And we then have Herb Adderley, another guy who can be boosted as well, up to 97 speed, but his ability to stop the run at corner is what makes this card elite in my opinion. Also man, zone, speed, and then ability wise, he's not getting the best X factors in the game, but does get some pretty good zone KOs. Like deep zone's a big one, obviously. We then have Joshua Williams for the man-to-man guys out there. Gonna be strictly like a man-to-man guy, but pretty good stats, pretty good size, and good value for about 120k. Also, Ken Riley, the Rattler. He does get, I think, outside shade or inside shade, aka with mid route. Another man-to-man guy here too. Also, guys like Darius Slay would be a good deep out zone guy still in this game. That could have been mentioned in this video too. For his price, is pretty good. But let's get over to safety. So Jesse Bates for my free safety. I gotta go with Jesse. He does get deep zone for one. He's got good speed. The card plays well. But yeah, deep zone pick artist is a pretty good value pickup for this card. You can't play man, so make sure you are boosting that if you can. But good speed, good size, can tackle well. Only problem is the block shed, really. That's the only issue. But I think at this position, he's a pretty good value buy. I really do feel that way. Next up, my favorite here is Justin Simmons. He's 300k again, a combine champion, non-LTD. He gets reinforcement for, I think, 1 AP, right? Or is it 1 or 0? It's 0 AP. Yeah, reinforcement on his safety. My safety's got to be able to play man and zone, so I love Justin Simmons because the dude's able to fly around in man and zone and get reinforcement after 9 plays and knock out everything. Also, good stats to back it up. He's got good size and even good abilities too. I know he doesn't get. He does get deep zone. He does get deep zone and pick artist. So reinforcement or not, the card's a stud and the card's a great buy. Kevin Byard, Yankee Force 250. He's gonna get the whole slew of abilities. Deep zone, deep out zone, deep zone, whatever you want to run zone wise. Keith Byard can do it for 200k, or 250. So go after him if that's your cup of tea right there. Ronnie Lott as well, a guy that can be boosted up to 97 speed, a man zone kind of corner-ish safety that can hit. And you guys see his run stopping ability compared to a guy like Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates had 46 block shed. Ronnie Lott has it at 94, which is absolutely insane. And then for the X factors and abilities, not the best X factors besides I guess deep in zone. It would probably be the one I run, I guess. But I wouldn't really mess with the X factors on Ronnie Lott. I would just go deep zone for 2 AP and pick artist for 0. That's probably the best setup for a guy like Ronnie Lott, who's a very, very good card. Staying at free safety again, 92k Malik Hooker. Mainly just there for the physical. Got 6'1" with 95 speed for under 100k. Going over to strong safety. So strong safety, I really do not like any of these cards buys right now. Like their value, I feel like they're really overvalued right now. A lot of the top end strong safeties, in my opinion, like they really are. They just are to me. I think Jair Brown, a guy that can play corner, a guy that can play safety, a guy that also does get reinforcement, light it up, which stays on the whole entire game. And then also being able to hit and tackle and play man and zone. Jair Brown's easily one of the best value buys in the game right now. Also, Dante Whitner also does get the reinforcement, aka X Factor, with good speed. I know his height's a little bit smaller, but again, with the aka X Factor, you're gonna get all those KOs, and his height really won't matter as much. And also does get deep in zone KO, which I prefer on my safeties. Next up, we got Ryan Neal, 80K for him. More of a user just based off abilities alone, but does get mid zone for those who like that. But more of a user situation there. And again, if I had to pick one safety that's worth it on the top end of the spectrum here, I would probably go with the Cam Chancellor Redux. But again, I don't like a lot of the value of these cards right now. A guy to keep an eye on would, Kyle Hamilton's, I think, the best card in the game. If you watch my video, I think it was on Wednesday. But he's just too expensive. Cameron Curl, I don't think he's good enough to be like an over-the-top guy. But it is what it is. I guess maybe on like a 32 theme team he can do that, but if I had to pick one on the higher end, it would be the Redux Cam Chancellor. Good abilities, good X factors, deep zone, good size, good speed, and can be boosted as well up to 97. So yeah, those right there are the best cards to buy right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Again, if you go out there and buy these cards, but I would not participate in Sugar Rush even next week. I just really wouldn't do it. I mean, if you, what I did was I rolled all my LTD eggs. I didn't pull any, so I'm out. I'm off this promo already. And Ring of Honor is going to be coming. It's going to be coming strong. Pause. I'll see you boys in the next one. Live tonight on Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern rating teams. I will see you there. I better see you there.